Welcome Hattiesburg, and a pleasant day to all our listeners. This is Abby, your host for Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm here to bring you updates, news, and more from our community. To add to all the excitement today, we have Mississippi Moments with LeGrand Capers to ensure you're up to date with all the hottest topics. And guess what? We have some very special guests for you. Amy Leon and Ann McCullen, as well as Vanessa Molden and Dr. Tom O'Brien. You definitely want to stay tuned for what they have to share with us today. But before we jump into all the fun, here's a quick message from our sponsor.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
In Southeast Mississippi, we stand united for the most vulnerable in our community. Become a game changer and volunteer by calling United Way of Southeast Mississippi at 601-545-7141. We have one life. To live better, we must live united.
Welcome back. In campus news, the Parent and Family Weekend will take place this weekend. Whether you're from Hattiesburg or outside of Mississippi, all family is welcome to Parent and Family Weekend. It is a wonderful time for family members to connect with their students in their new home. Visit campus in the Hattiesburg community, as well as meet other Golden Eagle families, faculty, and staff. There will be a variety of family-friendly activities for everyone to take part in. Registration will be $50 per adult. Parent and Family Weekend will be from Friday, October 4th through Sunday, October 6th. Also in campus news, the Southern Miss School of Leadership hosts Southern Miss Cruisin' on October 7th. The School of Leadership is part of the USM's College of Business and Economic Development. They will host the event during the Long Beach activities of Cruisin' the Coast. Local car clubs will be participating and parking on the south lawn of the university's Golf Park campus. There will be tents with music, games, drinks, and snacks. The event is open to the public on October 7th at the Golf Park campus from 3 to 5 p.m. In Hattiesburg news, the Hattiesburg Alliance for Public Art honors a late legendary musician from Hub City. The 57th public mural by HAPA was unveiled Tuesday morning. The mural is titled Parrots in Paradise to honor Jimmy Buffett. He died at age 76 last year. He studied history and journalism here at Southern Miss in the late 1960s, before his music career. The mural is in Midtown near Crescent City Grill. It is the 8th large-scale mural in Midtown. The mural is not 100% complete yet, but touch-ups will be done in the coming days. In Mississippi news, the 165th Mississippi State Fair will be opening downtown today. This year, for the first time in 165 years, tickets will be sold online to avoid long lines inside. For online tickets, go to ms.state.fair.com. Pre-sale tickets are now online for $8 or buy them at the gate for $10. Parking this year will also be free. This year, there will be stricter security to enforce the rules. There will also be many new shows this year. Children under 18 have a curfew of 9 p.m. and must be accompanied by an adult. The fair opens tomorrow and will go through Monday, October 14th. In international news, Mexico receives their first female president. The passing of the presidential sash is very symbolic and important to the country, and the honor has been passed on to Claudia Sheinbaum. She's the first woman to hold the highest office in the country. This is a huge change over more than 200 years of Mexican history. She has very big shoes to fill, but she in no way doubts her abilities. She dedicates a lot of her presidency to all the women of the nation. She called her political project Mexican Humanism. She plans for many changes ahead. That's your news update from Southern Miss Today. Next, we'll have the latest in sports and weather. Stay tuned. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back with our action-packed sports segment. Let's dive into the latest scores, highlights, and sports. Get your jerseys on because it's game time. Our next football game will be versus Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns this Saturday, October 5th at The Rock. Go Eagles! Today and Friday, the women's volleyball team will be playing against Arkansas State. Also on Friday, the men's tennis team will be playing against UTR College Circuit. On Sunday, the women's soccer team will be playing against Coastal Carolina. Head to southernmiss.com to keep up with the Golden Eagle sports activities. As for weather today, look for a low of 65 with a 20% chance of rain and a high of 89. The feels like for today is 65 to 91 degrees. Tomorrow, look for a low of 71 and a high of 81 with a 70% chance of rain. Tomorrow's feels like is 72 to 81 degrees. Up next, we have Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center of Oral History and Cultural Heritage, with the Grand Capers reminiscing on joining the Military National Guard. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. In 1916, a movie about the Civil War was filmed in the National Military Park at Vicksburg. The Grand Capers describes joining the Mississippi National Guard in order to work as an extra on the film.
I recall that in 1916, the Seeley Company sent a crew here to make a movie called The Crisis about the Civil War. They decided they wanted to use 800 members of the Mississippi National Guard to portray the Union and Confederate troops in combat at the siege of Vicksburg. Now, the companies from half a dozen cities in Mississippi came here. They camped at the old Mississippi National Guard rifle range south of the city, and everyone here was very excited about it. I remember it well. I was 16 at the time, but I wanted to be in it, so I went down to the local company and enlisted in the company, telling them I was 18 years old. I participated in the mock battles portrayed on the hills around here for the movie. It was about a year later that this movie about Vicksburg appeared here, about 1917. Of course, everybody went to see it.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
That was your Mississippi Moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Amy Lyon and Ann McCullen with the United Way and Edward Street Fellowship Center, and Vanessa Molden and Dr. Tom O'Brien with 6th Street Museum District in the USM Center for Black Studies. Now, please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Amy and Ann. How are you?
Hey there, how are you? We're good.
That's good, thank you. Could you both briefly introduce yourselves?
Hey there, I'm Amy Lyon. I'm with United Way of Southeast Mississippi, and I'm our Director of Community Impact.
And I'm Ann McCullen, Director of Edward Street Fellowship Center.
Could both of you give me like a brief rundown of what each of your roles are and what y'all do?
Absolutely. So at United Way, our main mission is to mobilize communities to close gaps and open opportunities so all can thrive. And so we want people to be happy, healthy, in many different ways. And so specifically, we're here to talk about our campaign kickoff, which is a food drive we're doing on October 17th. And it addresses food insecurities in the area, which we'll go into a little bit more later.
And at Edward Street, we've been around for 45 years, and we are just trying to provide a helping hand to those who are struggling in the greater Hattiesburg area. We have a food pantry that serves, right now we're serving more than 2,000 households every month from a 7-county area, and that's mostly shelf-stable food. We also have a thrift store and a free medical clinic, and the medical clinic is for adults from Forest and Lamar County who don't have health insurance.
Okay, wonderful. You just mentioned the food drive. Could you explain how it started?
We can. So this is the first time we've done it in about 5 or so years. But like I mentioned, one of the areas that we focus on is health and making sure that families have enough nutritious food to eat on a daily basis. And so this campaign that we're running, it will be on Thursday, October 17th from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 3 different corner market locations. The closest to here would be the Midtown. And then we're also doing it at Oak Grove and Petal, where folks can bring food donations that we have listed on our website that these pantries need, that they're running through really quick, like Ann had mentioned. They're just seeing really high numbers of families that are struggling to make ends meet, and it might not be families that you kind of have in your mind, but it's folks that are working, multiple jobs that still can't, have enough food on their table. So we're asking student groups, churches, places of work, companies to donate food on that day during those times at those corner market locations. So whether, like I said, there's student organizations that are willing to do that and kind of collect that food from now until 2 weeks from now on the 17th, that would be wonderful. And Anne's done this in the past too.
Yeah, it's a great benefit. There will be 3 different United Way agencies who receive the food. So Edward Street Fellowship Center has a food pantry in Hattiesburg that serves 7 counties. Hope Community Collective is a food pantry in Marion County. And then Christian Services is a soup kitchen located in downtown Hattiesburg. So all 3 of us are United Way partner agencies, and we're super excited. One thing we love about this, they call it the campaign, which is really cute. And one thing that we love about it is that it's first quality food. You know, a lot of times in food drives, and I'm guilty of it too, I start going through my pantry and I'm like, man, I'm never going to eat this. And I don't look at that expiration date, or it's something really unusual and I don't need it in a recipe. So chances are our food pantry folks may not either. But this is really good food, and it's at a perfect time. Like Amy said, we are just breaking all kinds of records at our food pantry, and our friends at the other feeding agencies are as well. So we just finished the month of September, and that was our 6th consecutive month to set a new record at our food pantry, which is not a great thing, you know, but we are thankful that we do have food to pass out, but we just wish that so many people weren't needing to visit a food pantry.
Yeah. So the food drive will benefit y'all's groups, but it also will benefit the community, obviously. Can you share how these organizations were selected?
Like Ann said, these 3 are 3 of our United Way partner agencies. And so kind of we use the word campaign because the main way that we raise money at United Way is through the workplace campaign, where folks at different places of employment can donate a part of their paycheck to United Way each month. And so we have 11 different partner agencies that these funds then go to. So these 3 agencies, Christian Services, Edward Street Fellowship Center, and Hope Community Collective, are the 3 that have food pantry operations through them. So it just made sense to work with those 3 for this.
Okay. Could you share some of the goals for this year's drive? Because you just mentioned how there's more and more people in need. Could you share some of the goals for the drive overall this year?
Sure. The drive is really aimed at just getting more food into the food pantries. Good quality food at a time of year where we aren't quite as much on people's minds. Typically with most charitable organizations, but particularly with feeding programs, people tend to remember us during the holiday months of November and December. So it's kind of a hard season during the summer and the early fall, and our numbers go up because people with kids have just had to buy new school clothes and backpacks and new shoes that fit because kids grow so quickly. So it's a tough time for families financially. So our demand on our services, our request for assistance, usually go up the most in August and September.
Okay, thank you. Could you share an example of how past campaigning drives have impacted the local community?
Well, yes. I mean, they have been in the past. It's been the same format where United Way staff and volunteers have been set up at various corner market groceries around town. And the public, some people bring in food. You know, they may be cleaning out their pantries, or they may just have some food that that they purchased elsewhere. But most people go into corner market and get it. But it makes a difference because it's an influx of food, and as Amy said, on their website they have the list of what each of these agencies is most in need of. So it's really hitting a target. It is helping us to fill a gap so that we can be there for the community. At Edward Street, we have similar things in each bag. Every bag's going to have the same amount of vegetables, meat, soup, fruit, a lot of the staples, rice and beans, things like that. But Christian Services and Hope Community Collective may have different assortments that they're needing help with. So it's very targeted, very timely, and extremely helpful.
And I think it's also shown the community, you know, the awareness of what needs there are, and that, you know, it's not just about giving of your time, but something as simple as bringing in a couple cans, and that's still reaching out and helping our community in some way.
And it really makes the impact that if each of us do a little something, it moves the needle towards change. And you know, you don't have to drop $1 million or $1,000 check. You know, you can just go pick up some canned goods, and if we all do a little bit, it really makes a difference.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in today and providing insight into what you do.
Well, thanks for the opportunity.
Of
We love
course.
this.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. When you or your business sponsors programming on WUSM, you are getting more than recognition for your product. You are also gaining the appreciation of our audience who understands that your sponsorship provides their favorite programming. And research shows that the audience is more likely to patronize your business, too. In addition, the cost of sponsoring programming on WUSM is tax deductible. To learn more, call 601-266-4287.
Okay, now please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Vanessa and Dr. Tom O'Brien. How are y'all guys?
We're doing fine,
We're doing
thank you.
just well.
Wonderful, thank you. Vanessa, could you tell me a bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, I am the Operations and Education Supervisor with the 6th Street Museum District in downtown Hattiesburg.
Okay, thank you. And Dr. Tom O'Brien, could you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yes, I've been at Southern Miss as a professor for 16 years. I'm over now in the School of Education, and I'm serving as the interim director of the Center for Black Studies.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Vanessa, what is the mission of 6th Street Museum District?
The mission of the 6th Street Museum District is to present and preserve African American life and culture here in Hattiesburg.
Okay, there was, in the information we were provided, there was a mention of a Renaissance festival that I believe y'all just had.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that, even though it's over, just to provide some information?
It was the 19th annual Mobile Street Renaissance Festival that's held in the district on Mobile Street every year. The organization that oversees that is the Twin Forks Rising.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Tom O'Brien, could you tell us a little bit more about the Center for Black Studies here?
Yeah, the Center for Black Studies has been operating for 20 years. It's had 3 directors. Most recently, the director was Dr. Sharita Johnson, who left for a position at Penn State University, but she is coming back in 2 weeks to participate in the 2nd annual Clyde Kennard Lecture. The Center for Black Studies offers a Black Studies minor in the College of Arts and Sciences. It also hosts and partners with various organizations on campus and off to promote the study of Black history, and not just African American history, but history all over the globe that entails people of color.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you teach here?
Yeah, I teach courses in the history of higher education. I teach courses on educational research and qualitative research, mixed methods, quantitative research. What else do I teach? I'm currently teaching a course called A Place Called School in the Honors College, where we're looking at the school as a place of excitement and conflict, where Americans come to dispute and debate the things they value most.
Okay. Vanessa, could you tell me a little bit about what you do with 6th Street Museum District, like your role specifically?
Well, like I said, the mission of the district is to preserve and present African American life and culture here in Hattiesburg. So that's what we do, whether that is from programming, special events. And one of the things that we want to talk about today that we've partnered with USM Center for Black Studies is the 2nd annual Clyde Kennard Lecture Series, which we will kick it off with an open reception, a welcome reception on October the 14th, where individuals will have an opportunity to come and tour the museum before they hear from our guest speaker, which is Dr. Matthew Delmont, who is, and he will speak on his book, and Dr. O'Brien can talk a little bit more about the book that he will be speaking on.
Yeah, Dr. Delmont is a very accomplished scholar. He's also an administrator up at Dartmouth College. It's an Ivy League school in New Hampshire. And he has written a number of books, but his most recent book is called Half American, The Epic Story of African Americans Fighting World War II at Home and Abroad. And it's a rich history because it doesn't just deal with the battlefield. It deals with what was happening in the African American communities and in American culture during the war as well. And notice because the word is fighting at home and abroad, these were not always the easiest of situations to be in. So we're very excited. We're partnering with the 6th Street Museum District. We're partnering with the Dale Center for the Study of War. University Forum is involved. All 4 colleges at our university have generously contributed to support the lecture, and the NAACP is also co-sponsoring the event.
Okay, wonderful. Could you, either of you, give a rundown? It says on the paper that there's a schedule of events. Could you give a rundown of the events overall, if you don't mind, either of you?
Okay.
Why don't you start with the 14th, and I'll start with the 15th.
Yes,
Amazing.
On October the 14th at 6 o'clock at the African American Military History Museum at 305 East 6th Street, we will have a welcome reception and a tour and a brief talk by Dr. Delmont. His book is focused on World War II. And one of the great connections with his book is that the African American Military History Museum was a World War II USO for African American soldiers prior to becoming a museum. And guests to the welcome reception would have an opportunity to tour the museum and not only learn about African American service members during World War II, but actually African Americans service members from the beginning, from the American Revolution to actually through the Global War on Terror. And so that we will kick it off on October the 14th, and then the Center for Black Studies will take over on October the 15th.
Yes, and we're hosting the what we're calling the 2nd annual Clyde Kennard Lecture. Clyde Kennard paid the ultimate price to try to come to Southern Miss. He was never admitted. He attempted in 1955. He attempted a few more times. He ended up getting framed, convicted of a crime he didn't commit, and he spent many years in Parchman before he died on the 4th of July. So he paid the ultimate price. He's also a Korean War veteran. And so we are coming to terms with our history with Clyde Kennard. And this is our 2nd annual lecture. Again, he was a Korean War veteran, so it fits nicely with the 6th Street Museum. We've invited Camp Shelby. We've been in touch with Keesler down on the coast. Again, all 4 colleges are coming. President Paul is going to participate in the introductions, and he's going to give a short memorial about Clyde Kennard.
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Tom O'Brien and Vanessa, for coming in today and letting us know exactly what you do and the events that are coming up.
Yeah, I do want to mention that on the 15th, there is a reception before the lecture from 5 to 6 in the 2nd floor of the Thad Cochran building, right outside the Joe Paul Theater, where the event will be, where the lecture will take place.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. We are thankful for Justin Ware, our audio engineer, and Michaelan Williams, our film producer, for keeping this bird soaring. We especially want to thank our program director, Shania Williams, our executive producer, Oari, and our assistant producer, Adeline Fields, and our general manager, Dr. Martin. Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today. Remember, fly, eagle, fly. I'm your host, Abby Buzegard, signing off. Stay creepy.
Sponsorship comes from Southern Beverage, your local Michelob Ultra distributor. Michelob Ultra has significantly fewer carbs and calories per serving if you are watching those in your diet. You can reach Southern Beverage by phone at 601-268-9111, or you can find them on the internet at southernbeverage.com. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri, and Southern Beverage ask you to please drink responsibly.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.